New truck, 1978 GMC.
What's up, YouTube? And welcome back to the old Chicken Eye Garage. Now we got a new one inside the shop. 1978 GMC square body short bed truck. This is my first short bed to own. I take that back. I actually had a 2000 Silverado, but I don't count. That's kind of more of a modern truck. As far as classics, this is my first. I've been looking for a short bed for quite some time, and I can tell you right now, it's hard to do because they're not very cheap when you find a halfway decent one. Now, I didn't have to dig too deep in my pocket to find this one. Now, if you caught that last video, you saw what was previously in here. And I didn't have it very long, unfortunately. That was old 53 Bel Air. And I love that car. I actually kind of regret selling it, but there was a lot that needed to be done. And I think it would have been a fun project, but I'm kind of excited about this one. One, I can kind of enjoy it now. And two, we're truck guys. I mean, we like the trucks more than we do the cars. I like it all, really, but he likes the trucks more than cars, and I'm kind of the same way. Let me take you off this right here and that right there, and let's take a look at the old 78 GMC that I bought yesterday, day before Father's Day. So technically, this is a Father's Day present to me. And what better way to enjoy Father's Day than hanging out with my little buddy. Overall, pretty straight. The bumper's got a lot of character. And overall, it looks pretty straight. The grill is very dingy, and unfortunately it's got that right there. And I just learned today, doing a little research, I don't think they repop these. I can't find one if they do. A lot of character on the hood. Still a lot of paint though, but starting to fade away. This side of the truck is interesting. A lot of gray primer coming through. I think this has been repainted on this side at some point in its life. Maybe something hit it, and they drove across the pole or something. Really?
Yes, has to be done. I
guess so, yeah. So I'm thinking, I don't know, something's going on here. But that's a lot of gray primer. And heck, that might even be a little bit of body filler there. I don't want to pull on that. Now, I'll be honest with you, this truck is very rough around the edges. And she's got some rust, as you can see. Obviously, this would be very fixable if I decide to do that, or I may just leave it as is. I don't know. Can't really get a good shot of the tailgate because the door's shut, and I don't want to let all the cold AC out. But the tailgate, not in bad shape. Got some whoop-de-doos on the top there. Probably something hit it at some point in time. Got the old ugly step bumper, but it's there and it's pretty straight. I'm gonna leave it until I figure out something else. I do have all the original caps. It's a little dusty. It's kind of cleaning up this one a little bit, see if that chrome comes back. And I think that'll polish up. If I wanted to put some 15-inch wheels and run some caps, I can do that. Let me zoom in right there. Yeah, it's got some rust right there eating away on that fender well. This side, not so much. Got us a little hole right there. Overall, the bed is fairly solid. Not too bad. He gave me some extra felt. That one's a new one. I'll explain that later. Roof cab, yeah, it's got some surface rust. And this is a little pitted right there. So even though the patina is cool, I may have to somehow slow that down so it doesn't get any worse. Believe it or not, he actually put a windshield in a couple days ago. When I saw the ad on Facebook Marketplace, it had huge cracks and stuff. So he went ahead and put a new windshield, so that's definitely a bonus there. Now, as y'all saw it pull in, it's definitely lowered, and it's got these halibrands. I think these are 20 by 8.5 in the front, and the backs I think are 20 by 10s. I know the fronts are 8.5 because I got 2 extra wheels that are brand new in the box. I already stuck them in the attic because this was outside, but it started pouring down rain out there, and so I wanted to get those out of the elements and get it away from the shop, because it's just going to take up too much room. So I went ahead and stuck them in the attic for now. If I just save them, who knows, I may have to replace a rim at some point in the future. Let me backtrack just a tad. I forgot to say, Picked this truck in Arkansas, about 3 hours from the casa here, a town called Horatio, Arkansas. At least I think that's how it's said. I don't know. Well, let's go ahead and go back to the truck, try to show this side, because this side's actually the better side. Kind of like this mug right here is always the better one on YouTube. Well, I don't know. We got a new one now. That one
right here.
Yeah, that mug might be a little bit better. This one's starting to get old and crusty. This side, I can guarantee this is all original paint. And it's a lot straighter. I did learn the gas cap is on this side. You're gonna have to sit down to get the dang nozzle in there, because this thing's low. That's pushed in a little bit right there. Uh-oh, a little rust hole there. I didn't even see that. Let me see if I can get my money back. Got some rust, but we got a serious crease right here, so I don't know what happened there. That'd be interesting to learn. I did put new tail lights in it. That looks pretty good. Let's go inside the cab, show y'all that real quick, and then we'll pop the hood, show you all the power plant, and then from there, kind of talk about what we're thinking about doing to this old square body. First things first, it does need door panels. He did say he has some parts on order that as soon as they come in, he's gonna send them to me, so that's gonna be nice. Seats in okay looking shape, but I can promise you this, our butts think otherwise. That 3-hour trip home, technically 4 hours, we got caught in traffic. Whew. Yeah, we were doing the wiggle and jiggle dance in the seat, plus no AC. Not a very comfortable seat. So I guess this truck was an original floor mat truck. Now we got some daylight there, a little bit of rust on that side too. He did tell me this is a factory option, some kind of maybe an add-on or something you can purchase from the dealership back in the day. So I thought that was pretty neat, because it actually has let me see if I can lift that up. It actually just kind of catches into that groove right there. I thought that was interesting. Might ought to clean that up, paint it, make it look a little bit better. Now you can't tell right here, but this is a factory AC truck. There's some vents on the other side there, you can see that one. He told me why he did this, I don't remember. I wasn't paying attention. No headliner, but the visors are there. He did replace the dash pad, but I don't know, it's already cracking, so gonna need another one of those. Doors shut pretty good, don't they?
This door.
Yeah, that one makes it. Yeah, we got a bad hinge, I think. But yeah, right there. This is an AC truck. Turn the radio on, nothing happens, so maybe the speaker's blown, or I don't know. All the gauges work. Speedometer is inaccurate. I think if I was doing 55, it showed I was doing 70, according to my wife, because she followed me home. Obviously, I had to get there somehow. That door panel's gonna need to be replaced. I do kind of like that, hand crank windows. I mean, it'd be nice to have electric one way, but you got to deal with all that, and so hand crank's a whole lot better. Seat belts are all there, but they are very, very faded and frayed and just dingy looking. So, and his don't work very well. It doesn't retract very good, so we just need to get new seat belts.
And also, there's a golden seat right here.
Yeah.
Kind of matches the truck a little bit.
I picked this up on Marketplace the other day. I'm glad my son mentioned that. I actually bought it for this truck, the old 66, because this is a 60 to 66 seat, brackets and everything. But the one I brought this thing home, I kind of looked at it and said, man, this is more gold than I anticipated. So I kind of wanted something that matched that fawn. Not that my seat's bad. My seat's comfortable and it fits the truck, but I just kind of wanted something that had that factory look. And this is kind of heading that way, but it's obviously not factory reproduction cloth or anything, or even design, but it does have a retro look to it. I've already done some measuring, and I'm thinking this seat will fit. It will fit width, height, all that stuff is about the same as the square body seat. It just sets too high due to the brackets. If I can figure out a way to make it set lower when mounted, this seat may be going in this truck. Maybe it was just a perfect plan and timing, because I bought that seat for this truck. I think it's going to match a little bit better in this truck. Let's go ahead and open the hood and show y'all the massive power plant that's under here. Look at that right there. It's all there too. I highly doubt this is the factory compressor. It is an R12 unit, as stated right there on that label. And this is a replacement engine that when he took it out, he disconnected this and just let the Freon out. He said it seemed like it had a full charge, so who knows? Switch this over to 134A, put a vacuum on it, maybe it'll work. Now you may be looking at that saying, that's definitely a 350. If y'all can't see that, let me tell you what it says. 305 cubic inches. That is the worst V8 Chevy ever made. That's right, I said it. What you gonna do about it? But it actually, in all honesty, did flawlessly all the way there, or all the way from Arkansas to my house. However, did y'all see that pan earlier? We'll get into that here in a second. Let's finish this little under the hood tour here, and then we'll move to under the truck to see what I discovered.
You got a family over here.
Oh yeah.
2 spiders.
Yeah.
Dad and son.
Dad and son.
Enjoying their Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day, little daddy long legs. Looks like they're hanging out. Looks like that battery's, what is that, 6 months old? Well, that's when he replaced it. Yeah, he said it's got a lot of new stuff. Upper radiator, fan shroud, hoses, alternator. He said that he replaced that, I don't know when, probably when he did the engine swap. And I'm sure various other things. Looks like the belts are in good shape. So now let's get to the explanation of why that pan's in the back of the truck bed. Now I know we wouldn't have made it home if it would have been leaking that much transmission fluid. But when I parked it outside the shop, right outside that wall, I got my parking section right there. I got home, parked it there, had to get out of the heat, cool down. I go to take a picture of the truck and I look up under it and I say, what is that puddle doing under there? Further investigation and it was red. So this thing sprung a transmission leak. I have not looked up under this truck, so that's what we about to do. Because right now the rain is off, but it's about to be back on relatively shortly. So that's why I brought her in here. So I need to jack this thing up and just kind of look up under there and see what's going on. Plus, let's just look up under the truck and see the suspension, because this, what I believe he told me, it's got a 5.7 drop, and I believe it's notched in the back as well. And he told me the mufflers, I need to message him again and find out, but I really like them. Nice, good sound, very, very quiet. If I can figure out what mufflers those are, I can tell you what, the Vegas truck might be getting the exact same mufflers, because I like them. We got a serious transmission leak. This fitting right here, really, really wet. Yeah, that one's real wet. The one below it is too, but not as bad. It's probably just gravity on that part there. And plus, this old stamped steel pan, these really ain't all that good. Gasket looks old. That's definitely something we need to put on the old to-do list. Replace this pan. I like that Summit Racing one I run, or I put on my Chevy Love. I also had it on my White 70. Really good pan, hold about 2 extra quarts. Cast aluminum, got the fins, a little extra cooling. They generally will fix your leak, especially if you have one leaking around the gasket area. I don't know if y'all can see in there, but the torque converter seal looks dry, so that is very, very good. I didn't check the output seal. Yeah, it looks pretty dry as well. So it's definitely going to be the pan and those fittings. Could even possibly be the kick down cable, maybe even the dipstick O-ring or whatever. I need to replace that as well. Just kind of service this whole setup, clean this all up. We may need to do a little decrust in there. That is a whole lot of mud and dirt. The guy lived in the country and his driveway was rock and dirt and all kinds of stuff, so that's why this truck is very, very dirty. Looks like we got a little bit of an oil leak there. Probably the rear main seal or possibly the oil pan. I generally like running those one-piece pan gaskets. Now up front, looks like we got a small little oil leak right there, and then the power steering as well is leaking. It also makes a lot of squawking and squealing lock to lock, so have to investigate that. Do have drop spindles. I think he said those are drop springs, either that or cut down springs. I think they're dropped, those what he told me. Those steering box is leaking too. Now I can tell you this right now, this thing will bottom out real easy. I was trying to figure out what shocks I got. I can't find any name on it. I may need to wipe them down and see what they are. but I may need to replace those as well. Let's go to the back and show y'all those mufflers. Borla Pro XS. I don't know what size these are, but they are very quiet and might flow pretty decent. Well, it looks like one thing isn't leaking, and that's the rear end, so that is pretty decent. It is C-notched. He left that bump stop in there. I'm gonna take that out because I like running those little, if you're gonna run one, just run that little pancake style one. Kind of looks like a little bit of a hockey puck. That's all you need. That way you get you a little bit more travel. Oh, here we go. I think we may have found something here. Let me wipe that off. A gauze 1850. So more than likely the fronts are Magau's as well. A little bit of a gap there in between that bracket and that frame there. Especially when there's a hole, you could have just drilled a hole and bolted that down. Might need to do some trimming on that frame to get that a little tighter, pull that all in. Flip kit. I think he says he did the shackles too in the back. Let's see, yep, shackles. So it's got drop shackles, flip kit, notched, and the shock that's pretty near, almost nearly taking a nap. That thing is that thing's pretty near sideways, ain't it? Might have to get some shock relocators or whatever, kind of bring that a little bit more forward, so to speak. Now, believe it or not, he has some brand new rockers that he gave me, but unfortunately I left them at his house. I need to message him, see if he'll send them to me. If not, I'll just have to buy some more. But I do have rockers for it that were provided when I bought the truck, and technically it needs them. Did I get a cream puff? Absolutely not. Did I get a decent deal for the truck that I got? Guys, it's 2025. Finding a clean short bed, not spending a whole lot of money, is getting really, really hard to do. Every once in a while, and once in a blue moon, you get lucky and you find that cream puff, like my boy Trey did a couple of years ago. Old Freedom truck, 84, I think, Silverado. Yeah, he got a heck of a deal. Pretty much rust-free truck, all there. So every once in a while you do come across them, but more often than not, to find a decent deal, I think I got a decent deal. Pretty cool truck, a lot of character, a lot of rust, but a lot of fixable rust, I would say. At least the rust that you want fixed is fixable, and the stuff that is more cosmetic, fix it if you want to. If not, don't worry about it. And right now I'm in the fence, it's not a priority. That rust ain't gonna get me down the road. But fixing those transmission leaks and trying to assess the suspension, getting it to ride a little bit better. Ride's decent when it's just going over small bumps, but you go over a big one, this thing will bottom out quick. And I don't care for that because I'm not used to that kind of stuff. And I'm not used to this either. I'm used to a lot of tire and a lot less wheel. This is the exact opposite. We got a whole lot of wheel and not a lot of tire. So you feel everything on the road that you can possibly feel. Those wheels look good on this truck, and they're probably gonna stay on there because I like the way they look. Kind of reminds me of the old United by Trucks Mississippi Mud. Pretty much, I think they're the same identical wheels. I think he just had them coated a different color. Truck looked really good. There it is, a new project. And we got some stuff to do before I can make this more roadworthy than it is already. It needs a lot of the comfort creatures that me and definitely him as well, we want it. We want a comfortable seat. Maybe we got it right there. I just got to figure out the bracket situation. If I can make a 60 to 66 seat work in this truck, that's what I'll do. But if I can't, if it's just too much trouble than it's worth, then I may have to take that seat out and have it recovered. Or maybe I can find one on Facebook Market that's already done, and that'll go with this truck. And cruise control. It may not bother you, but it bothers me to sit there and hold that right pedal for an extended period of time. Anything past 10-15 minutes, I'm about ready to let it go and try to use your left foot to drive with, but gotta have cruise control. Now that I got the truck back on the ground, yeah, we hardly got any clearance. What is that, 2 inches, if that? Yeah, no wonder this thing bottoms out so easy. There's really only one option. Different wheels and tires, or change those to, I guess everybody's running slosh tubs, or maybe there's another company out there that offers something that's kind kind of low level, not something that's way up here. If it ain't broke right now, I ain't fixing it. But if it needs some TLC, the old Charlie Chicken Eye touch, then that's what it's gonna get. And speaking of get, I kind of want to pull the old seat out now, see what's all involved to make that one fit. So let me shut her down.
Shut this one down.
And yeah, let's pull the old seat out. I want to see what that new one's gonna look like. Look at that. I found me a dime. Who says you can't make money doing YouTube? So now that I can see both bottom of the seats, brackets exposed and all, they're close to the same distance as far as left to right, but the mounting system is way different from one to the other. And it's really not that much of a difference, but at the same time it is, because everything's more close to the bottom here, whereas this side is way up in there. And so if I was to just try to set this seat in the truck now, I think the bottom of the seat cushion will come pretty close to the steering wheel. That's gonna be a bit of a problem if you want to drive, don't you see? So what I'm thinking I'm gonna do, I need to flip a seat, maybe just flip this one over so I can expose the same side bracket. Move one at a time and just see what's involved as far as trying to make the square body bracket fit on a 60 to 66 seat. It may be more trouble than it's worth, but I'm willing to at least experiment and test the effort. Is it too much effort or not enough effort, or just enough effort to know that when you're watching any of my videos, at times you will get mug time. Yes. Oh, got a new mug to show. Now you got two mugs starting to periodically show themselves throughout the video. All right, see what I got to do to make all this stuff work, if I can at all. Boy helping me vacuum the old interior out. That way we can see what we need to do to that seat. I'll let him clean it up. I'll probably wipe it down as well once that's all said and done. I think I'm just going to remove the brackets on that seat, stick the seat in there, and just see what has to be done. I'm a visual kind of guy. I need to see it to believe it. Good morning, everyone. Back on the old truck. I got an update on the seat. We'll get into that later. But I wanted to go ahead and give you a little update on what I ran into the other day. I noticed when I bought the truck that it did not have any kind of spacer. It was just carburetor right on top of the intake with just a little, the thin gasket. I remember getting gas on the way back home from Arkansas, shut it off 3 to 5 minutes tops, and a little struggling trying to get started back up. It started up obviously, but little on the, I could tell it needed some space in between the intake and carburetor. Need a little heat insulation, don't you see? Now I own an Edelbrock 1/2-inch spacer. It's made out of wood, believe it or not. I figured that's a 5-minute job. Pull the carburetor out, new studs. I already had the studs, put the carburetor back on it. That ain't what happened. 5-10 minute job turned into several hours. And I tell you right now, sometimes we cut corners, we say, we'll get to it later, and later never comes. But I guarantee you, there was 2, maybe 3 threads on the original studs that were on it holding that carburetor down. I mean, it was off. Barely bolted down. So I corrected that with the longer studs, obviously to compensate for the spacer. Pull the carburetor off, gasket tears, it stuck to the carburetor, it stuck to the intake. I got to deal with that. Get that all cleaned up. Decided there's all kind of gasket material in the carburetor for me scraping on it and all that stuff. Open the carburetor up, and it's nasty inside there. So I started taking it apart. I just kind of want to clean it up, blow all the orifices out, slap it back together. That didn't happen either. Primary venturis, there's a little gasket in between that and the body. Those decided to tear. Luckily I had a couple extras, so I saved myself there without having to buy a kit. So now this carburetor's cleaned up, everything looks good inside. It's all put back together with the new spacer. Everything's back the way it was. Verified full throttle just to make sure it's there, and I got it. So now what I need to do is go ahead and get this truck started up and running. And I want to go ahead and check the adjustments on it, make sure everything's where I want it to be. I want to check timing. It fits pretty much normal. I want to say if it's around 6 to 8 degrees at idle, I'm going to leave it there. If it's a little higher or a little too low, I may go one way or the other with it. But I just kind of want to see where it's at, and I may just leave it for now and deal with it later. All right, guys, vacuum gauge, timing light. Let me go ahead and hook all this up, get her set up, and of course I've got to open the door, get this thing started up and running, check the settings on the carburetor. It's probably going to take a minute to get started because it's empty right now and I'm running a manual pump. That's why I like electric. I can just turn the pump on, that'll fill the carburetor up, a couple of skeets, and that thing will start right up. Well, we're going to have to wait for the pump to fill up the carburetor, and hopefully it'll start. So let me get all this hooked up, we'll go from there. This thing is idling at like 0 or 2 degrees. That's the timing. So let me let it warm up for a little bit and we'll start adjusting the carburetor a little bit. Got a pretty steady needle, right about 17 and a half, almost 18. It's starting to warm up. I can hear the idle changing and stuff. We'll go to the back of the truck here in a minute. I'll have my camera on the old mobile mount. Well, I'll let y'all listen to that boiler exhaust. Pretty dang quiet. All right, let me let this thing warm up. Vacuum. I changed the timing a little bit, bumped it up. It's hard to read that timing tab, but I think right now I have it at about 6. I think it was at either 2 or 0. Could be off one way or the other as far as that being accurate. I'm gonna mess with it a little bit more, then I'll take the camera off the mount and go around back and show you what it sounds like. Sounds alright. Let's go back here and show you what it sounds like. Out here in the shop. Now that it's warmed up a little bit, I'm gonna shut it off, let it set 5 or 10, see if it starts right back up. Been set for about a minute. Let's see what that does. Not bad. Let's let it set till 10:35. And then we'll try to crank it back up. Sounds like a plan. All right, you see the time, you see the mugs. Let's see how this truck starts. So far so good. Go ahead and leave that for now. Obviously, once you start driving it, you really get some heat under the hood, stuff like that. That'll really tell you how all those settings are gonna be, but for now, it's okay. Now, as far as getting this thing back on the road, I gotta address one major issue. That's a serious transmission pan leak. And I got a transmission pan to address that, along with some other stuff. But before I end the video, let me show you what the seat looks like. The old seat don't look too bad in this truck, does it? Pretty perpendicular along that window line there. As of right now, I only have front mounts. That is in the factory bolt location. And if all goes to plan, I'll trim that bracket, probably cut the corners, triangulate it, round the ends, make it look a little nicer, paint it black along with the bolt, and that'll look pretty good. I'm not going over there, but I got the same bracket on the other side. Turned out pretty good, and everything's set and level so far. You look at that seat, that's pretty level, and the old chicken eye's telling me that's pretty dang centered, if you ask me. But we got an issue. Let me show you what the spacing in between the door panel and the seat looks like from the driver to the passenger. There's the gap there, door fully shut, and there's the gap there, door fully shut on the passenger side. It's not a huge deal, but the problem is I want to put seat belts in the truck. I'm not going to be using the ones that were in it because passenger seat belt for him would pull down but wouldn't retract. Plus the plastic is kind of dingy looking, and even the webbing is really deteriorated and faded. So I think I'm just going to pass on those. They do not, at least I learned, they do not repop the original style looking seat belt. They have more of the style that I have in my 66. Let me show you all that real quick. Yeah, there's that seat belt, which I actually got to replace. I got one on order, that one broke. But yeah, the buckle will be up top, and it's a lot more compact. As far as the square booty truck goes, that's where it bolts. So how much room do I have for that mechanism to be around here? I may have to tweak this seat a little bit this way to kind of balance out the gap, and hopefully all that'll work. Plus you got this to contend with. There's a stop bolt that goes in there, I guess, so the seat can rest on it versus resting on the back of the cab. So there's a whole lot going on here, and that just constitute me pausing the install until I get seats or seat belts for this truck. If I have no issues getting the seat belts mounted and they don't interfere with the seat or the door panels or any of that stuff, then we'll go ahead and finish making rear brackets, which is going to be a challenge. So there'll be a part 2 on the install of this seat, whether it's going to work or not. But as far as work, I need to get to it. I need to get back on this truck and move to the next video, which is going to be dealing with my transmission pan leak. That's a serious one there. So I'm gonna go ahead and shut this video down. But here you go. New project. 1978 Chevy. I messed that all up. I said Chevy. 1978 GMC square body truck. Short bed. I've been wanting a short bed for a long time. It seems like I get stuck with long beds, but I like those too. It's just I need a short bed. Now I got one. She's rusty and crusty. Maybe that's what I name her, Crusty. Crust Bucket. I don't know what kind of name I want to come up with this thing. We've been thinking about names. Maybe you comment below, let me know what you got for a name. I'd like to come up with a name for the truck. We got Bluebell here. We got Vegas outside. What are we gonna call this one? But that pretty much wraps this video up. I'm pretty much gonna shut this one down, start the second one, and I got my shop buddy with me. That's always good in my opinion. All right guys, hope you liked the project. Hope you enjoyed the video. And like I always say, until then, thanks for watching.